Hey guys, it's Nelly. Welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to finally be sitting down and filming my foundation, highlight, contour, blush, face makeup routine. I am sharing the products that I am currently loving to create my face makeup, but I'm also sharing tons of tips throughout the whole entire video. I have a feeling this video is going to be really long because I really broke everything down, shared the products, shared the brushes that I'm using, why I do all of the steps that I do in order to create this face makeup. So yeah, I'm really excited for you guys to see this video. I have been wanting to film it for forever now, so I'm really happy that I got the chance to sit down and film it for you guys today. Also, this eye, we're not going to talk about it. It keeps watering and it's already making the inside of my eyes irritated of how many times I have like wiped it off and put it back on. So please ignore that. I promise you in the video it doesn't look this crazy. So yeah, that is going to be it, and I'm so excited for you guys to see the video, so I'm gonna zip it. Without further ado, let's get into my face highlight contour routine. Alrighty guys, so let's go ahead and get started with this contour highlight base routine. I have switched up my routine a ton, so I'm really excited to show you guys how I have been contouring my face and the difference that it makes. So I made sure to have my hair nice and picked up. I am wearing clothes. You can see right here I have a tube top on, but I just wanted to really be nice and bare so that you guys can really focus on the skin. I am starting with my eyebrows done and my eyes done. You guys know, or if you've been following me for a while, you guys know that I usually like to start with my eyebrows done because they take me forever to do. And usually if I'm doing a really intense smoky eye like the one that I did today, I will go ahead and do my eyes first. That way if we have any fallout, we can just wipe it off and be good to go. So we are ready to go ahead and get started. I do have moisturizer on, and I'm actually trying this really cool, this by the way, this is not sponsored. They just sent me this and I've been trying it for a while. This is called the In Transit Camera Close-Up by This Works, and this is supposed to be a mask, moisturizer, and primer in one. So I have been using this before doing my makeup. I also have my sunscreen, which is super important to apply, and I also have my serum on. This is the Glow Recipe Pineapple Bright C Serum. I love this serum. And for lip balm, I have, as always, my Fresh Sugar Lip Balm, which I love. My skin has been super duper dry recently, and you can tell, I don't know if you can tell, but right here, my lip, can you see it? Can you see that? My lip is actually cut of how dry my skin has been. So we are ready to go ahead and get into primer. Now, usually I go back and forth with primer. On the days that I'm doing full glam, I definitely do prime just because I want my makeup to look as pretty as possible. So I have been going back and forth in between two primers recently. This is the Benefit Professional. This is such an old product, but it's still amazing. I love this primer. And I also like the No Pore Blem Prime Essence by Touch in Sol. This one is a really good primer as well. So I think for today, I'm gonna use the Professional just because I really want my pores to look nice and filled in. So I am just going to apply this on the skin and really push it in. So when applying primer, you will definitely want to push it into your skin, and once you feel like it's nice and pushed in, then you can go in with your fingers and kind of blend it out. I also take a little bit of the primer and I just kind of do it under my eyes because I do have creases under my eyes. So using something like the Professional, I feel in my mind, this might not work, but in my mind, I feel like it kind of fills in the creases a little bit. So I use it. Why not? Now I'm going to go in with concealer. I have been taking a concealer that is the same shade as my skin tone. I am using the CoverGirl TruBlend Undercover Concealer in the shade Warm Nude, and I apply this under the eyes. As you can see, I have some darkness under my eyes. I also have some redness around the nose, some breakouts here and there. So pretty much what I do with this is I go in with one swipe under my eyes, And then I do a little bit around the nose. And in any areas where I might have some breakouts that just need an extra little bit of coverage. I'm going to be taking this Sigma F89 Bake Kabuki brush. This is technically like a brush to bake, but I love it for foundation. I don't know, but there's just something about the shape that it has. It's just, I love it for foundation. So I am just going to pretty much just blend this into the skin. Now, if you don't have any darkness or if you don't have anything to conceal, first of all, why are you wearing makeup? But if you don't have any of those issues, I definitely recommend skipping this step. This step is not necessary. This is just to give me an extra layer of coverage. That way I won't use as much foundation. But if you don't have anything to cover or conceal, or if you get a lot of sleep at night, then skip this step. For foundation, I have recently re-fallen in love with my MAC Studio Fix Fluid Foundation. I have been using this foundation so much recently. I just love it. There's something about the smell, the color, the coverage, that it just brings me, it gets me in a good mood. Like whenever I smell this foundation, like I'm like, yes, it's makeup time, you know, like I love this foundation. So I am just going to put some in the back of my hand. I need to buy a pump for it. So I'm going to just get a little bit of foundation, not too much, because we did already go in with that concealer. I'm just going to pretty much dot it all over the skin. And then I'm going to go back in with that same Sigma brush. And I'm going to pick a little bit up in the back of my hand. I am just going to smooth this over the skin. Now, if you have texture skin, I have texture skin, I have pores, you definitely don't want to rub your foundation in. You don't want to go like this. I know that we have said this in previous videos, but I feel like it has been such a long time that maybe you need a reminder. But if you can see, I am just tapping my foundation in. I am not rubbing it in. I find that when I rub it in, it just slips and slides everywhere, to be honest, and it doesn't really like soak up into the skin. So I like to just go in and really tap it in and not rub it in. When it comes to the neck, you can definitely slide it down, but for the actual face, make sure that it's nice and tapped in. So now we're gonna go ahead and move on to contouring. I used to skip cream contouring all the time. Like it was just honestly, at the time, I thought that it was just an extra step that was not necessary. Like, what was the point? We still go in with a bronzer. Like, why do I need to contour? But it has changed my face. Like, I love to cream contour. Cream contour is something that now I don't ever skip because I just love how it looks. And since we have a cream underneath a powder, it's really going to make that bronzer stay on a lot longer and look a lot better. So I love to cream contour. I don't skip it ever. So the cream contour that I have been loving is the KKW Beauty Contour Stick. I know this is pretty pricey. If you have something that's more affordable, go ahead and use that. I just haven't found anything that's this good. The reason why I like this cream contour is because you do not need to be an expert at blending in order to get this product to blend out. The formula in this product is so freaking amazing that you can just go in a couple times and it's just blended. It's so smooth, so creamy, and so easy to work with that I am obsessed with it. So I have the shade Dark, which if you watched my last video, I kind of talked a little bit about why I have the shade Dark. When this product first launched, I was only able to get the color Dark. Everything else sold out and I was only able to get this. And to be quite honest, this is probably expired and I feel I am so embarrassed to say this, but I've had this product since this product launched, and I think it's been like, what, 2 years at this point? A year and a half to 2 years. So this product, for me at least, it lasted me a long time. I know that when it came out, a lot of people didn't like the fact that it was a little bit of product, but honestly, it's lasted me this long. I have not repurchased and it's been lasting me. So I have the color Dark, like I said, but if I could definitely use medium, but Dark has been working for me fine, so I'm just going to use it until I run out pretty much. So what I like to do with this product is I like to go in with the darkest side first. So it is two sides. We have a lighter side and then we have a darker side. So I first go in with the darker side. So I first look at myself in the mirror. I kind of started on my forehead already, I'm sorry. But I kind of just look at my face in the mirror. I put my mirror like nice and straight, and I start to really see like, what is it that I want to hide? When you're contouring, you're pretty much making some of the features on your face smaller. For the most part, my hair is always up in a tight bun or a tight ponytail, so I have actually lost a lot of my hairline, and my hairline is kind of going back a little bit, which is something that I need to stop doing. So I always go in and I first draw in the forehead areas, because that's the first part that I want to make myself look a lot smaller. Then I go in here and I want to have more of like a square, so I'm just going to draw in more like a square forehead pretty much. Now I'm looking at my cheeks. I do have some chubbiness going on over here, so I'm just gonna draw in where I want my cheeks to kind of come in. Same thing on this side. Kind of look at myself. And then I also do the chin right here. I want to cut my chin from here on out. So I'm going to draw this. And now I have this little fat right here. Do you see that? So now I'm just going to draw some lines right there to make that look smaller when we're looking forward. Now for my nose, same thing. Kind of want to hide those sides. My nose tends to be a little bit too round. I like to make it a little bit more straight. And then I also do the lips. And this is just gonna make our lips just look a little bit bigger. So I know it looks pretty scary now, and you're probably freaking out like, Nelly, what the heck are you doing? Like, how is this going to come together? But I promise you, it comes together, and it comes together beautiful. So I am going to begin to blend everything out using the Makiage 100 foundation brush. I love this brush to blend out the contour. There's something about the shape of it, the bristles, the density of it. It is perfect to blend out your contour. I love it. So I usually start in the forehead, and again, just like I did with the foundation, I do not rub in the contour. I tap it in, and the reason why I tap in my contour is, one, to not disturb the foundation that we laid on underneath, and two, because again, I have texture on the skin. I really want this product to sink into the skin and not just sit on top. So I am just going to blend this in, and as you can see, this blends out seamlessly. Like, this KKW contour stick is so good. I like to do my contour first before I go in with concealer, because just in case if you bring it a little bit low or whatever the case may be, the concealer is going to help us bring some lightness back on. So do not worry. Okay, so again here, I am tapping it in. I am not... Do not rub. You want to make sure that you're tapping it in. You also want to make sure that you are blending this up and not down, because if you blend down, it's going to make your face look droopy. You want to look nice and lifted and sculpted. So make sure that you are blending up. Look at those cheekbones that we just created, and it's all just makeup. See? Look at that. Look how sculpted our chin looks. For the nose contour, you definitely want to take a smaller brush. My favorite nose contour brush is the Luxie 209. It's this one right over here. I am just going to lightly begin to blend this into the nose. You don't want to over blend your nose contour, if I'm being honest, because when you over blend, then what was the point of doing your whole nose contour? So you definitely want to leave it a little harsh, because once we go in with powder and all of that, it does fade. So go in a little bit stronger at first. So I'm going to leave it like that, and now I'm going to go in with my beauty sponge. This is the Juno & Co. Velvet Sponge, I believe. I'll have it linked down below. It's amazing. I love this sponge so much. And what I'm going to do is I'm just pretty much going to go over my whole entire skin, just to further blend everything and make sure that everything is nice and seamless. I leave the nose always for last. Now I like to take the sponge and blend in the nose. Alrighty, so now we're gonna go ahead and conceal. I know it looks a little weird, the nose is looking a little harsh, but you'll see it comes out together perfect. So I'm first gonna go in with this is the Golden Natural Concealer, also by CoverGirl. And now I am going to put this under the eyes, so right here. And I'm also going to use this concealer to clean up the outer corner of the eyeshadow. So I like to focus it in the inner corner and back. And I'm going to bring it down like that. And I'm going to bring this to the side of the nose. I used to take my concealer like all the way to the temples, but I don't do that anymore because I was noticing that when I would take my concealer all the way to the temples, my face will look a little bit fuller and I want my face to look shorter. So I'm only concealing from here in and not taking it all the way out. Now if you want a super sculpted high brow looking face, you can totally do that, but because my face is a little bit more round, I have to be very careful when I take my concealer all the way up to like my temple area. So I just leave it right there. I'm going to go in with my Juno & Co sponge and I am just going to blend this concealer into place and kind of mix it in with the cream contour. So now to make sure that this is nice and blended, I'm going to go back in with my contour brush. I'm not adding any more contour. I am just pretty much going to tap in where the contour and that concealer meet so that everything is nice and kind of blended in together. I like to go in with a brush. This is a Sigma E25 and I like to take this to really blend in the concealer in the inner corner as well as on the side of the nose, because sometimes the beauty blender, it's a little bit too big to get in those areas. So I like to go in with a brush and make sure that everything is nice and blended. Alrighty, so now I'm going to go in with a super light concealer. This is like the fairest that I can probably go. This is the another CoverGirl concealer in the shade 300, L300 or Golden Ivory. And now I am going to highlight with this concealer. So I'm going to do a little bit on the chin. I'm going to put a little bit on the sides of the lip. I'm going to do the tip of the nose. I'm going to do the center of the forehead. I'm also going to do the bridge of the nose. And I'm going to do a little bit right here in the inner corner of the eyes to really brighten everything up. Just in the inner corner. And now I'm going to go back in with my sponge and blend it out. Now I personally like a bright under eye. I know a lot of people don't. So if you don't like a bright under eye, skip this step, just stay with your one concealer. I just personally really like the way that it makes my under eyes look and the way that the overall look comes out. But if you don't like it, definitely skip it. So usually when I do this, the nose contour kind of goes away a little bit or it looks a little bit too harsh. So I would go back in with my nose contouring brush. I'm not going to use any extra product. The only thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to blend in the two together so that it looks a little bit more seamless and not so harsh. Boom. Okay, so now we're ready to go ahead and set everything into place. So the powders that I love to use, you guys know, are my KYLIE powders. I know I tried to use something else, but I just always go back to them because I love how they make my skin look. So I use two different shades. I have soft pink and I also have beige, and I'll show you guys how I use them. So I'm first going to go in with soft pink. I make sure that my under eyes are nice and blended and that there's no creasing under there. This is the Dominique Cosmetics, the Blend and Shade Brush. So I will go ahead and first just apply this powder down here just to do a very light set to the under eyes. I feel like when I set the concealer first, the bake goes on a lot better. And it doesn't go on patchy, it goes on nice and even. So I do a quick set under the eyes. This powder has a pink undertone, so as you can see, it is really nice and brightening, which I love. So I'm just going to set everything, and I like to go in with a big brush and just blend off any excess. I'm also going to take some of this powder on the chin and on the center of the forehead. I absolutely love the KYLIE powder, but I don't love it to bake. I feel like the longer you leave the KYLIE powder on the skin, the drier it makes your skin feel. So to bake, I go in with the Ben Nye Fair powder. It has a pink undertone just like the KYLIE powder does, but it doesn't leave my under eyes looking dry, which is something that we all love and need. So I like to just put them on the back of my hand. And I like to take my little beauty blender. It's very little. And I take this powder and I bake the sides of my nose, and I also bake my under eyes. I only bake the inner corner. Again, I don't take this powder all the way out. Taking a Morphe, this is the JH10 brush. I take some of this powder and I put some on the tip and down the center of the nose. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and set the rest of the skin. For this part, I usually take a face powder. You can take a loose powder or a face powder. I love my Charlotte Tilbury Flawless, the Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder. I just take a big brush. This is the Morphe and Jaclyn JH09. And I just kind of like press this everywhere. And I lightly tap this all over the skin to set everything into place. Now I am not rubbing. Again, I am just tapping the brush. You don't want to rub, because when you rub, you disturb the base makeup that you have applied. So you definitely want to tap and not rub. Now I'm going to go ahead and bronze the skin. I have just been using this one from Ofra, this one right over here, but any bronzer will work. And I use this is the Crown SS023 Jumbo Kabuki Fan Brush, and I am just going to bronze up the skin. I pretty much apply this bronzer wherever I applied the cream contour. Now I'm going to go in with my KYLIE powder, but this time in the shade Beige. And I like this powder because it's very similar to my skin color, so it's not going to add a super distinct line, like a demarcation line. But just take a powder puff with a little bit of this powder and I clean up the bronzer area. So I went ahead and I did my under eyes. This eye right here keeps crying, so we're just going to ignore it. Hopefully by the time that I'm done doing my makeup, it's all good. I'm just gonna take a brush. This is a Morphe and Jaclyn JH09 brush, and I'm just going to wipe off the powder from under my eyes and the nose. I'm going to leave this bottom portion still baking. So next we're going to go ahead and blush up. This is the Alamad Medium Tan Kit. This is my favorite kit. I pretty much just mix all of them. Sometimes I do just one, sometimes I'll do all three. For today, I'm going to mix in the peachy with this one, these two together. I do tap it on the back of my hand because these blushes are super pigmented. And then I just apply. So I do take my blush a little bit higher. So I'm just going to put my blush right here and back. I like to go in with a big blending brush and I blend out the bake and I move it up and I run this blush into circular motion to soften everything up. And this is called the buffing technique. And I learned this technique from Sonia and Fita, I believe those are their names. And this really does smooth your makeup and it just makes everything nice and airbrushed. Look at that. Look how airbrushed our skin looks. I always go back in with a little bit of whatever is left of blush on my brush and I just add a little bit more because I really like the blush. So I like to go ahead and take a setting spray. I'm using the one by Ofra in today's video because I love this setting spray, and I'm just going to spray my whole entire face to kind of start melting in all of those powders into my skin because we did use a ton of powder. So next step, I like to take the KKW No. 2 brightening powder. And I love this stuff. I apply it right here under the eyes in the inner corner. and boom, it just brightens everything up. Now my under eyes are already pretty bright, so you might not be able to tell the difference, but in pictures it just looks so pretty. So I always do a little bit. See, you can just kind of tell that it just makes everything look really nice and bright. I love it. Okay, so the last step is a highlight, and this is the Ultra Highlight in Rodeo Drive. I'm taking it using a Morphe JH09, and I'm just going to apply the tiniest bit back here and blend it out with my finger. I don't really highlight too much anymore. I just like a little bit. I just feel like when you have a matte skin, your face just looks so much more youthful. And I'm also going to do a little bit here in the arch of the brow. And I do always do the tip of the nose and the bridge of the nose. And you can even do a little bit on the Cupid's bow. Okay, so I am trying to get through this intro and outro as fast as I can because this eye, I think I'm doing an allergic reaction to something. I don't know to what, but it just keeps watering and I'm like, okay, so I am going to try to get through this outro as quickly as possible because this eye right here, it keeps watering, and look at how red already the inside portion of my eye is, and look how dry I have made my under eyes from all of the rubbing. Like, it's really bad. But yeah guys, this is the finished look. This is the whole entire face nice and contoured. I am getting Kim K vibes. This is the finished look. This is everything. This is the whole entire face nice and contoured. As you can see, we have brought all of our features forward. We have highlighted. We look nice and skinny mini, and I don't know, I just really like the way that this turned out. So I just really wanted to share with you guys the products that I have been using and loving. That is going to be it for today's video. Please subscribe to my channel if you enjoy videos like this one. If you want to see more of these types of videos, please subscribe. And yeah, that is going to be it. I am going to go before this gets ruined and we ruin the whole thing. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Mwah!